So today for Creative Kids, which I'm now filming at home because we can't go into the art centre even, we're going to take a walk for a line. So it's kind of like mindful colouring. If you're used to this kind of colouring from school, sometimes they have them and you colour everything in. Really, really nice thing to do. So you can actually make your own mindful colouring. So instead of even having them, if you don't have a printer or something at home, what I like to do is to take a line for a walk. So you just start, I'm going to hold it up like this. You're better off having it down on your table, obviously. But I'm just going to hold it up so you can see what I'm doing. So you don't even need to know what's happening. You might have done this in school before, actually, because they like to do it a lot in school. It's kind of like where you have a scribble you colour in. So I'm just taking a line for a walk. And you can go on any size paper that you want to. You can go on anything really. Okay. Right, so you get that. You get a little scribbly guy like this. And then what you're going to do is pick your favourite colours with whatever medium that you want to use. So I said about medium last time, that's just either your colouring pencils or your paint or your markers or whatever it is that you're using. So there's some paint and I have my markers out in case I want to use them. But I also have my favourite thing to do colouring with, which is my watercolour pencils, these guys. These are my favourite ones. So you're bound to have something at home in your art press that you like to use. Or you can combine them. You could do some pieces paint and some pieces pencil and then marker as well. Whatever it is that you like to use, it doesn't really matter. But this is just a nice way because I find that sometimes when I'm drawing a picture, I get a bit stressed about wanting to have it look perfect or what's it going to, those kind of thoughts that go on in your head. When you do this kind of colouring, it just means you're doing a big scribble. So it doesn't have to be anything but a scribble. And then you're filling in inside them. And it sounds maybe that it's too simple or could be boring, but actually this morning after breakfast, I did a few of these and I got really into it. I got really, really into them. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, instead of a here's one I did earlier, I am going to do here's one I did earlier actually. I've done a few of them because I got really into them again. That happened again. Yeah, being creative, guys, that's what happens. Okay, so this was one of my little guys. That took me, I think, about 20 minutes, just like colouring in. And these lovely pencils that I use, I'll just demonstrate one little blob on them. They're my favourite ones. I don't know if you have watercolour pencils, but you could use colouring pencils or you could use paint as well. But I just love the feeling of using the water. So I have my little brushes here ready to go. So I've coloured in my colouring pencil, and then when you add the water to the colouring pencil, it turns into paint. So you could just actually use paint, but there's something lovely for me about putting down the colouring pencil and then adding the water. So you can get those in art shops if you don't have them. And they're lovely watercolour pencils. Okay, so you see what I'm doing there, and then you put whatever colours you like in and you can mix the colours together, or you could even start sticking things down if you wanted to. Whatever it is that tickles your fancy. Okay, so you colour them all in. And then that's one that I did. I'll put pictures up on the video. But that's one I did this morning, and I started actually splashing some paint down, which was fun. And see what happens with them. And then, where's my other guy? That's another one I did. Okay? It's a really nice thing to do. I just found myself kind of relaxing and colouring in and having my cup of tea in the morning. And just, I don't know, it's kind of a nice thing to do to put your mind at ease, and it's a bit of fun. So as I was doing that this morning, I got a little bit inspired because I was thinking, okay, what could you guys do from what you have at home? So again, my mind went back to the recycling bin, because it's just, when you're thinking about your art and you're being creative, the recycling bin becomes a little adventure place. There's lots of stuff in there. What can I make them into? No one's going to give out to you because it's free to go. Alright, so I was thinking about my cereal box. I guess from using the cereal boxes before, I was thinking about them again. So I took out my cereal box and I noticed that it's lovely and plain on the inside, so really nice for colouring. And especially because I'm using a wet medium, my medium being my colouring pencils, I'm thinking of a nice dense thing that will soak up all my water. So if you just have paper at home and you don't have canvas and you want to add a lot of water to what you're doing, it's nice to have a nice hard thing to put your colour on, okay? So cereal box is perfect. You could cut it out and just have a little frame, or just have a little square if you wanted to like have just a normal piece. But I love turning flat into 3D. So I love turning it from 2D into 3D because I love making sculptures. So that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to put down my scribbly, take my line for a walk, colour in all my pieces, and then put my colouring box back together. You could even put your cereal back inside there and have a really funky cereal box in the morning to cheer you up. I don't know, that kind of would cheer me up anyway. So fast forward, here's what I did earlier, because I did do one earlier to see if it worked, and I found this was my other cereal box. We must love this muesli. So this is my other cereal box and that I found in the recycling bin, and I decompartmentalized it, opened it up at the seam. They're really easy cereal boxes. You just like, whoop, there's always a little piece where you can open them. And then this guy actually has a lovely little hole, as you can see there on the box, so I could even put in a little picture there if I wanted to make a frame. So just looking in your recycling bin and finding what kind of things are in there, you could reinvent them as something really special if you look at the shapes and what could be done with them. So yeah, that's my colouring one. I'm going to glue this back together now very quickly just to show you guys what it's going to look like. So I've done nothing else. I just opened the cereal box, coloured it how I like it. You could colour it how you like it, and then just putting it back together. Maybe you could trick them at home by making a brand new kind of colouring box or a cereal box decorated for a bit of a laugh. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to put glue down, my Pritt stick. That's all you're using. I'm not using my glue gun because I actually don't have it at home. So I'm thinking outside the box, pun intended. I'm going to glue this back together, okay? So let's see how easy it is here in real time. Alright, we are gluing. I'm sure there's other things as well, like last week I had the toilet rolls, didn't I? That's a good one. Yeah, this glue is not very strong, to be honest. So if you do have your glue gun at home, not like me where I forgot it in the art centre, then using the glue gun would be immediate. You wouldn't really have to do any of this holding it in place. Okay. Another alternative, I suppose, would be sellotape or masking tape if you had it. So that's not glued together now. I'd have to hold it, but I'll basically just show you what it's like. So I have my lovely little box guy. Yeah, it's quite cute. Or you could just leave it left open anyway, it's up to yourself. But essentially, that is it. You could find other shapes, you could cut out lovely circles, perhaps when you cut out your different pieces. I was thinking this morning when I was making these guys, it would be really nice to cut out little triangles and you could make some bunting. So if you had like a big string, you could cut out your triangle shapes and stick them on, all decorated like this. But you can see just from taking a walk for a line and doing all of these little colours, it's quite effective. And I think that took me like an hour of just sitting there and colouring in while I was having my breakfast, and I found it really fun. Okay, so again, if you want to try doing this and see how you get on, see if you can come up with new ideas or use a different kind of medium than I did, I would love to see them afterwards again. If you want to get your mums and dads to send me in some pictures. I really enjoyed seeing the house pictures. Some people sent me some house pictures that they were making, and they're really beautiful. So I'm really inspired by what you guys came up with to do. And I'm excited to see what you would do with this one. So send me them in and have fun with it, guys. Have fun being creative, and I'll see you later.